Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny Show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guest and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I'll introduce you to my wonderful returning guest, Trudy Marie. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both Trudy and I to connect with like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy. And I'm a guide who helps you remember your divine presence so that you can heal your past, create your future, and transform your present. To expand your consciousness, understand your spiritual path, get clarity on your next steps, and take charge of your destiny so that you can fulfill your purpose in this lifetime. Now, each episode of this show covers various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Trudy, about how you can navigate the cosmic shifts of 2024 purposefully. Now, Trudy is a multidimensional teacher, transformative coach, visionary, and energy alchemist who helps you make sense of your challenges, find your inner light, your confidence, your soul desires, your uniqueness, and reason for being here at this time. Now, Trudy has a background in computing, philosophy, and mythology, who through challenges and health issues stepped into quantum knowledge and now brings multidimensional 5D magic to her work. Trudy blends energy realignment, mindset reprogramming, high dimensional soul awareness, physical movement, and practical advice so that you can become more resilient, trust yourself and your soul, and have a structure to help you align with your life with bigger and bigger soul visions. You start to feel more alive and fully grounded to showcase your unique talents in the best way for you. Now, I've personally worked with Trudy, and I can say she's extremely gifted, being not only to help you understand challenges, but also your visions as well. And I would highly recommend her. So without further delay, hello, Trudy, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Hello, thank you. Nice to be back with you again. So New Year's Day of all as well. So that's really cool.
I know, it's brilliant. First show of 2024. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Trudy and I want to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. You know, I can see we've got people watching, so please do say hello. So Trudy, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we can navigate the cosmic shifts of 2024 purposefully?
So as you said, I've got a background in computing. So when I talk about the cosmic shifts, I just want people to understand that that wasn't something I was ever expecting to speak about. It wasn't something logical, and it didn't really fit into my computing background. So when I first started downloading this kind of information, I was quite surprised and a little bit confused. So what I do now is I help other people who might be feeling that they're starting to awaken to something bigger than themselves and sensing into something that they can't find the words for, and showing them what I did basically to learn that language myself. And I'm kind of lucky because of my computing background. Working with energy is actually quite a similar language. We can talk about templates and codes and upgrades and viruses, you know, and all that language fits this kind of realm really well. So I hope then by using that kind of language with people, that those that are more focused on reason and logic have a bridge then to cross into this kind of understanding as well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because obviously, you know, when you start talking about quantum, cosmic, multidimensional, people kind of like go, oh my God, that sounds a little bit strange. Yeah, how does that work practically here? So it's great that you can sort of like talk on both levels to people to help them understand that.
And that's my kind of journey, I guess, you know, because my world was ruled by willpower, goals and perfectionism and being the best I could and controlling and taking risks, but in a very controlled way, and all based off of my logical, analytical and reasoning kind of abilities. And that wasn't getting me anywhere. It wasn't achieving the satisfaction I wanted. Don't get me wrong, you know, I had a really successful computer company, but it came with chronic fatigue and burnout. So that left me sick. And then you're kind of lying there going, well, okay, I've been like successful in the corporate world. I've been successful as they tell you should be. I've made the money, and yet I'm still not satisfied. I feel like there's something missing. And then the great thing about illness, like you said, is that you end up having to stay home, really go deep within yourself, start looking for, especially when doctors can't help, like chronic fatigue is a really unknown illness, and it's known for not having a solution. So you really have to dig and look into something else to find just a way to survive it, in a way, just a way to accept it and to process it. You have to start looking beyond logic and reason. And that's kind of where all my multidimensional cosmic awareness started coming from. But if you'd said to me, even 10 years ago, I'd be doing this work, I would have said, no, not if I can help it. I'm going the other way. But unfortunately, this is where I am. But it's cool because I've learned so much. I've kind of got to know myself better. I feel like I understand how I work, why I work the way I work. And it's all through this weird, wonderful world of the quantum and multidimensional understanding. So each day is a bit like an adventure as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. You know, every day should be an adventure. Hi, Jenny. Oh, that's okay. You haven't missed too much, so you're in time. So that's perfect. That's perfect for that. But yeah, I think sometimes people kind of like forget sometimes that when, you know, illnesses or things do kind of like knock you off balance, sometimes it does give you that chance, that ability to actually reassess things and work out how you can change the way you're living and what you're doing to actually be more aligned, to actually get into that space of knowing who you are and being able to move forward with things.
Yeah, for sure. And the best word to describe that state for me now, like we call it higher consciousness or 5D, but ultimately it's all to do with being more soul aligned. And it's about stepping out of that ego, personality, desires, which are not quite what we think. You know, it's not just about greed and money. There's more beyond that. We're just as bad at playing small as a personality trait as we are for the greed. You know, there's a lot of ways that we hold ourselves back. And the soul aligned is a much more expansive way. And it's kind of like one of the things I've been doing with people is taking them on what I'm calling the King Arthur quest, because that's what came up at the end of last year. It's this King Arthur's a ruler, he's a leader, but he's not in his castle kind of controlling and telling everybody what to do. He's out there and he goes on a quest and he has no clue where he's going or why he's doing it, but he just has this strong calling to go and do something. And then you have the supernatural Merlin by his side, which is the soul stuff. And then you have his practical kind of knights to help him on his action, which is the more practical stuff. You have his Excalibur sword, which is his guiding light to take him on this quest. And ultimately what he's looking for is the Holy Grail, is his true essence. So that kind of is the soul aligned kind of path as of the Lion's Gateway. That's the kind of message that came in. And it really does fit as a story for how we can move into being that. And then life becomes an adventure. But yes, you have to walk without knowing where you're going. You have to do without knowing what the purpose is. You have to obey a higher calling without knowing if it's going to take you somewhere good or bad. And we love reading stories like this, but we're actually quite afraid of having that as our life, as our path through life. And if nothing else, the last few years has been all about us having to switch or pivot to that kind of way of being, because the normal structures around us aren't there anymore. All the things that we base logic and reason on are dissolving. So what is the new paradigm method of living your life? It's soul aligned. It's the only way we can go to find stability right now.
Yeah. So how do we align our soul? How do we get soul aligned?
So what I was going to do is like talk a bit about the cosmic rays, because they're part of this soul alignment. So there's multiple, as multidimensional, there's multiple layers that we have to work on because everybody thinks 5D is something that's going to land on their lap and they'll just suddenly be in a 5D paradigm. And it doesn't quite work like that. We have to work on our mindset, our beliefs, our limitations, our personality, to remove all of that so that we can raise our vibration, hold more light, so we can align with it. But also, I think one of the reasons it's all happening now is because there are new cosmic energies coming to the planet that are shifting the energies of the planet too. And when they shift the energies of the planet, that allows us to shift and evolve. And when I first started tuning into all of this over the last couple of years, again, it was like, yeah, this sounds a bit vague and a bit, but I learned that evolution, they were saying that when we evolved from the Neanderthal to Homo sapiens, they felt this was an amino acid shift in the brain, so a chemical reaction in the brain. And that when they analyze meteors that have fallen to Earth, they're finding amino acids. And then at the time that I was saying that there was a new particle arriving, and I didn't quite understand what it was, and I was quite kind of shy about speaking about it because what proof did I have? Then it was the time when last February when we had that comet come past that hadn't come since Neanderthal times. So, you know, you've got this big event that comes past and humanity splits into two modes. And then here I am saying we're at that cusp again. I'm not quite sure. I'm calling it the quantum human, this sort of balance of logic and spirituality and soul and wisdom with our really strong intellectual side as a quantum human kind of fits together quite nicely. And I feel like we're at that point of evolution now where we can start deciding which path we're going to go on. So that's kind of just like a meteor example of it coming. So again, this year I started sensing into this particle again. I was like, oh no, not again. What am I going to say this time? Because I was calling the last one, it was kind of like an oxygen molecule. So I was calling it the breath of God, is the best way I could explain it. So this time I thought, what's this one called then? And then as I was tuning into this, I knew it was cosmic and it was coming in and I could sense it. And it was full of potential. It was kind of like a new awakening to understand the universe on a new level. But I didn't know how I was going to express that. And suddenly, this is the super exciting bit, I found a science article. And this science article actually said that scientists have found new cosmic rays. They use the word cosmic rays in our atmosphere, and they haven't got a clue where they've come from. And it's second to the oh my God particle, which they found in 1991. So they actually call them cosmic rays. And I was like, oh my God, so I'm not so crazy after all. And they've been talking about this since about November. So just as I was saying, there's this new particle, then this is what they've been writing about. And they've called this particle, and I have to read it because I always get it wrong, Amaterasu, which is based on the Japanese sun god, because the guy that found it was a scientist in Osaka Metropolitan University in Japan. And they were saying things like, it's so powerful and such a high vibration that they've never seen anything so powerful in the atmosphere of Earth before. And obviously, you know, this is whatever recording dates that they're working on.
Yeah.
But the interesting fact for them was they couldn't tell where it came from. They said it's more powerful than the particles from a supernova. So a supernova is when a star dies, explodes, and then it starts recreating into a new form. And this was more powerful than the supernova. And what confused them even more was it was coming from a part of space that was empty. They said it was just a void. And they didn't know what was there that would create such a blast of particles. And whilst most particles zigzag through the cosmic realms, this one was so powerful it came in a direct line, which is how it's ended up here on Earth. So you have to ask yourself then, you know, if an amino acid can shift our humanity from Neanderthal to Homo sapien, then what are these particles doing for us now? You know, what new chemical reaction, DNA activation, even consciousness shifts, like opening up the brain to understand things on new levels. What is that doing to us now? And that kind of, at least I've got some science, something that I do on a regular basis. So I was like, yay, science, I like science.
So how have you been working with the cosmic rays, or how have you been finding them?
Well, we've got to separate you as Rae from the cosmic rays, don't we, really?
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I'm a cosmic ray, but I'm
Exactly.
a sunshine ray, a cosmic ray, you know, ray of sunshine.
So this ray, I saw it as a sun, kind of like a golden energy. And it's interesting that they called it Amaterasu, because that's the sun goddess. But it also means shining, heavenly shining, which also feels like we were going through a huge shift after the last winter solstice into a new frequency and into a new vibration. But it's interesting because whenever I started getting these sensing abilities, then it's hard to put it into words because it's just a frequency that you feel. So I tend to use cards to help find the language, and you can't just read the cards. You have to really kind of plug it into what you're sensing at the same time. But we can all do this. It's just practice. This is the soul wisdom language that we need to learn. And when we start tuning into that, you start feeling an emotional kind of reaction to it, I guess, that shows you that it's hope, or is it a cleansing? Is it a purging? Is it a shifting, a shape-shifting kind of energies? And at first, when I first started sensing this, I thought, well, I know they're planets, and I know that the planets emit gamma rays and other rays into the atmosphere. And obviously now the particle part of my work is beyond the planets, wherever that's coming from is not directly related to planets in our solar system. So then I was thinking, well, often I find the astrological stuff catches up maybe a month or two after what I start talking about, and I can start seeing the correlation. So I always find it curious, like, even though I'm not trained as an astrologist, somehow just through sensing, I can sense an energetic shift and then find it aligns with what the astrologists are saying. So I think the point here is to understand that we probably can all do this, and we probably think it's like daydreaming or a funny thought that's just popped into our head, or that kind of flash of a moment where you think, oh, I could be doing this job tomorrow, and you think, oh, that's an interesting dream, I wish that was true, and then you park it and forget about it. I think these are parts of these activations that are coming through for us to listen to. So then for me to work with them is to basically dive into them. And when you get these little things, like I hear so many people saying, oh yeah, I played with like being a doctor for a bit, but that didn't suit me. Then I was a yoga teacher for a bit, and that didn't suit me. And I kind of felt like there was something, and they miss that all of these things are interconnected into some amazing pattern. And that if we started looking at them and pulling them together, we'd actually find out what they're here to do. And these cosmic rays are, I call them like activators. That if you went to a bookshop and you were, say, into mythology, and you open a page and you discover a new bit of mythology you knew nothing about, you cannot read that and not change your life.
Yeah.
You will start either resonating with it, or remembering parts of your life that resonate with it, or thinking differently because of it. And in quantum physics, this is kind of like you can't observe something without impacting it. It's that kind of logic. And I think this is how human consciousness gets nudged into new dimensions. So if we ignore it, then we're basically ignoring a line of self-inquiry that could be expansive to us. So I don't know if that kind of answers using the cosmic rays, but it's kind of like, it's an adventure, it's a puzzle, it's a game. You get a clue and another little clue, and they're all breadcrumbs. And it's about pulling them together, but uniquely to us. And that's what really is key, because I think if we all try to copy each other right now, we're losing part of the divine plan, because each of us needs to be activated in our uniqueness and understand how everything impacts our world, not how everybody else is describing it. And we have to tune in, because that's when all of this magic, for each individual has magic, will open up, and suddenly it'll all connect and create this kind of wave over the planet that will shift us into the next era.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And if anyone's watching has got any questions, then please, do ask them whilst you've got Trudy here. But yeah, and that's really quite interesting that each one of our uniquenesses will actually build into that collective that will actually raise things a lot higher and speed things up when we do embrace our own uniqueness and walk our own path without worrying about what someone else is doing or copying them, but allowing those energies to kind of like merge and come together in a mix.
And I think it's really interesting, like if we look back over the years we've been through this shift that we're going through, the first message I got was Pluto in November 2019 started kind of telling me that the world was going to end. And I thought, that's a bit drastic, I'm not writing that. And then look what happened. And then that was the first time I had to sit down and go, okay, something weird's going on here. This isn't just coincidental that I was just writing stuff because I thought it would go away if I expressed it. And then I suddenly realized it was more important than that. 2020 became the year of clear vision. For me, it was very much everybody got sent home to look themselves in the mirror, to connect to who they really were and what their life was without the distractions. That was, a lot of people suffered then. People who were empaths and already doing spiritual work were probably okay. So we've already done a lot of self-discovery. But some people who hadn't been used to that suddenly were like, my life isn't what I want it to be without the distractions. It's missing, like that hub was missing. So 2020 was a year of getting ready to break things down and really take a long, hard look at our truth and who we were supposed to be. 2021, the message I got was discovering your great vision. And it didn't say mission or purpose, it said vision, which was interesting. I've only understood what that means years afterwards, but at the time, it asked us who we're going to be, who did you want to be, what were you going to create, what world did you want to live in, and all those kind of questions. 2022 then started shifting into value, because we had the cost of living crisis starting, and AI was also starting at this point. And we were being asked to say, well, if we took all away your money, like we're taking away your life already, but let's take away your money now on top of everything else. So like as if you haven't had enough challenges so far, let's just take that money away.
Yeah.
Let's make life difficult and see if we can push you into scarcity consciousness. And that was for us then to find our inner value, that inner light, that inner ability to see that we sell our creative energy for money. Money is just the thing that we trade to get the resources we want. There are other ways to trade. And if we can connect to that inner creative life force energy and value that, and that's what the trick was, we don't often. We value intellectual knowledge, we value exams, qualifications, job titles, but we don't value our essence and the invisible essence that we have, the invisible abilities we have. Then we can then start finding our value without the external word being needed to define it. So like I said, AI was no coincidence that year, because AI started taking away the value of creatives, of making it easy for people to write scripts about topics they had no clue and sound like they know what they're talking about. So all that stuff was going really into the value of us. 2023, I was excited. It said, yay, we're going to have a year of no form, which meant no rules, do what you want. And it turned into chaos instead, because it's like taking a captive animal and saying, okay, now you're free, go out into the wild. And we were all kind of like, but what do you mean the spiritual karma doesn't exist? What do you mean that we can now create our own lives and co-create and manifest? We didn't know or have the tools to do that. So a lot of the energy I spent in 2023 was to do with teaching people how to activate their creative energy, how to visualize their new life, how to technicolor fill it in without a job title, without the physical aspects, but just as an essence and an energy that they could hold on to, that when they share it, it would just like, it didn't matter what you were saying, the other person would just feel it, that would come through in the way you described it. A bit like my King Arthur story, when I describe that, you know what I'm saying, and yet it's a simple essence of what I do. And then now we're in 2024, and I don't know if we want to start now. Yeah, we should really, shouldn't we? The main point of 2024 is unity consciousness. That's the message I'm getting for that. And it's about us stepping up into being, there's something I've always noticed is that we tend to pray or petition the higher beings when we want their help. That's the end now. We are the higher beings. We are here to embody that higher energy. We're not supposed to look to the goddesses for help. We are meant to work with them and collaborate with them, just like we collaborate here. So the unity consciousness I'm sensing isn't just humans working together, although that's going to be a challenge in itself. It's about recognizing that we're now going to sit at the master's table and help work out the new world that we're meant to be birthing. And to do that, we have to, the strangest word came up, the Galactic Federation of Light. We have to activate that inside us now, that we are the Galactic Federation of Light. We are the peacekeepers. We are the energy meant to be here to help raise the consciousness so we can become unified. And that's heaven, earth, people, mind, body, spirit, personality, soul, all these dualistic polarities finally being synthesized into the power that we are.
Yeah, beautiful. So if anyone has got any questions on that, then please do ask those. But I believe that you've got an exercise or something for us that we can do. So I don't know what this is, so I'm excited as everyone else about this one.
Well, I think unity consciousness is going to be quite tough for the next year. So it's interesting when it comes to the Sirius and the Lion's Gateway, we often get given a lot of spiritual lessons then that are carry on to the next year. So there's a link from what we were learning then that carries us forward. But for us to be able to sense energy beyond the mass consciousness news is part of that ability to see the world differently, I guess. And we've got to move into a vision that pulls us forward, not pain pushing us forward.
Yeah.
And that, again, is the ego personality.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I was going to say, Janeki's point is that I think it'll be quite challenging within 3D systems like government rules, NHS, etc.
Well, I think, like anything, we are powerful individuals. And if we start the unity consciousness in our families, then our communities, then our villages, then we can create change from the inside out. It's not about waiting for the governments to do it or waiting for the larger corporations. We have to start it on that micro level and then let it ripple as in the way we treat each other, because then we start snowballing that energy into the next year. And unfortunately, to really shift into that, we have to heal our wounds, because we're not going to be the best people to collaborate if we're worried about our self-worth, if we're worried about karma, if we're worried about not knowing what to say or how to say it. We have to get really strong in our essence and know that just because I can speak about cosmic stuff and you speak about I don't know, flowers, for instance, doesn't make us any different. We're all frequencies that are needed on this planet. So it's that, like, how do you get, like, in a conviction that you are enough? That's the key to unity consciousness. And teaching people that can be quite a challenge for sure.
Yep. And Gemma says, we can powerfully bring the unity consciousness, I love this, inside out, micro to macro. I've been in lots of self-healing at the moment.
And that's the thing, we start with, the first separation is soul and personality. We start with that and we make that strong. Then when we are in that ability to hold ourselves, and understand ourselves on that level, we can then create and co-create new ways around us, because we have to be more loving and understanding. And we can't do that if we're wounded children in ourselves.
Yeah, beautifully said. And yeah, Gemma says, yeah, we're all needed. Yeah, we certainly are. So do you want to take us wherever you're going to take us, or whatever you're going to do to us?
Cool. So if we just want to see if we can tune into this, and I go say it again, Amaterasu frequency. So this is that cosmic particle. So I feel that this cosmic particle is it's full of potential. So that's where we're going to tune into this potential. And we're going to invite it into our bodies to shift us on a DNA level and allow more of a understanding of the quantum universe to awaken within us. Just as the start, like I said, this unity consciousness is going to be the lesson theme for the whole of 2024. We're going to go through each month kind of building on that theme. But for now, let's just intend that we want that in our lives, that we want to become the advocates, the leaders, the practitioners of unity consciousness. And if we tune in now, if we just take a deep breath, we're going to go in through the heart. So I normally call on a white light that I use, that is divine intelligence, just to come and clear all our energy, to create a circle around you, like a flame circle, just to burn away any energy that's not yours. So you can come into the purest of intention, ignoring all of mass consciousness, ignoring family arguments or any other energies that you've picked up. So let's just take that energy, burning it away all around you. Then we ask that light to come down through your body, just to clear out any energy in your body that's just not ready to go into 2024 with you. Because we're going to be in this kind of, January is going to be this waiting phase. February the 10th, the Lunar New Year, is going to be more aligned with us starting. So think of this month as a cleansing month. So invite this white light in to cleanse. And just let it remove everything from you. And we don't dissolve it anymore, we reforge it. There's an energy here we can reuse. We put it out to these magnets that are like plasma balls. Imagining it all going in there and building up some more energy and strength so we can be reused in a new way. We send out 4 roots into the ground. We send out 1 into the earth, 1 into the fire, 1 into the water, 1 into the wind. All of the air that's trapped down in the elements of the earth. And we see these as partly our earthly resources that we can manipulate, because everything on Earth has been made from the elements of the planet. So we can see this energy coming up through our feet, up into the base of our spine, and then spiraling around our spine to create this concoction of ingredients that are now part of us. And then we invite there's this fifth energy. I'm not quite sure what to call it yet, but it's almost like a knowing your place on Earth. It's a connection that allows you, like earth knowledge, like a wisdom from the earth. And we bring that wisdom up. And this wisdom helps you understand how to be human on the planet, whilst also being galactic and connected to the cosmic realm. So imagine creating this tube down to the earth, and that wisdom now flowing up and down that tube. And then when those are all in play, we'll just let them cleanse, let the white light cleanse the roots, make them wider, allow more energy to flow through them. We move up into the heart. We step into the heart, into the flower within the heart, opening up the petals. Inside we find the three flames of divine sovereignty, divine wisdom, and divine love. We imagine walking through each of these flames, starting with the gold flame of divine sovereignty. And as we step into this gold flame, we're already starting to think like a sun goddess. That each of us is a sun goddess. That's our sovereignty, that we can generate the frequencies of this planet. We can alchemize the energies into what we need. This is the sovereignty that we need to remember right now. And as you stand in the golden flame, just invite any thought or feeling that's coming up that's resisting this to go out to those magnets. And instead make space for new codes and templates to come in that will guide you through the next year on how to integrate this into your life. Next, we step into the blue flame of divine wisdom. And here I want you to imagine you're receiving your new creative goals, new ideas, new ways of integrating unity consciousness onto the planet, new projects, new collaboration. Imagine now all of these ideas being downloaded into you now. And again, any resistance of, I don't know how or don't know who, just let them all go to the magnets now to be forged. Instead, making space for possibility, infinite possibilities. And remember in this wisdom that karma doesn't exist anymore. A lot of spiritual constructs don't exist anymore. So you really have a complete free reign on how you want to create and what you want to create. Finally, we step into the pink flame of divine love. And the universe loves you for being the brave souls that you are, to come to this planet, to change, to shift like the phoenix, to go through these burning sessions that we're going to go through in January as we dismantle, break apart, so that we can break away all the structures that have been keeping us small, so that we can grow and rise up once again as the phoenix to the height of our next version until we need to also burn that away and grow again. And just know that this is all part of a loving cycle. You're not being punished. When things get taken away and doors get closed, you're not being punished. This is just part of you letting go of what you don't need to move into the next phase. Because part of this unity consciousness is really loving yourself so much that you leave behind the people that don't resonate or support or boost you, that you close the door to projects that are not fulfilling you, that don't light up your heart. We have to become quite strict on our boundaries for this if we're going to create unity consciousness. It doesn't mean that other people are bad. It just means that they're not your soul tribe and they're not meant for you in the part of the work that you're going to be doing. So it's really important to find others like you. And to do that, you need to let go and be you. Feel brave enough to speak your words, to express yourself. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. That's perfect. We need mistakes in order to grow and to change. Just feel the love of the universe, just the thought of you falling over and making a mistake, and the universe there to support you and catch you. And that's the love of the universe that you can feel around you now as a big warm pink blanket. Because you're going to need that courage, that trust, and that safety to move forward through this unity consciousness year. And finally, we come to the pearl in the center of the heart. And this pearl is the doorway into your inner quantum space. And as you step through the pearl out onto a platform, you see the universe, the cosmos, the nebulas, the star nurseries, the planets. You see the vastness of knowledge, wisdom. You see your timelines, past, present, future, all as a big matrix running through this space. All of this is opening up every day, allowing us more and more access to more multidimensional wisdom, to more access to our soul, to access to all our mistakes in the past that we're us practicing for this moment, for us to learn how to do it better this time. And as you watch all of this movement through the galaxy, you start noticing these tiny little particles of gold. At first, they may seem quite faint. Imagine you can adjust your vision to amplify it so you can see these, just like we switch from X-rays to gamma rays. Imagine you can just switch your vision so that you can see these little particles that they're calling the Amaterasu particle. And this particle is coming from some void deep in space. And it brings with it keys, like little tiny keys, to go into your body, to unlock your DNA, to unlock your consciousness, to unlock the cells of your body, to help you to hold more of this light. These are going to activate within you the ability to connect to the Galactic Federation of Light, to remember that you were and you are still part of the Galactic Federation of Light. To see your brothers and sisters, galactic or earthly, that are all going to come together now to help bring unity consciousness, whether it be just for yourself, for your family, or a community project. Every single thing that you do is going to snowball out from here. As you invite these gold keys to unlock you, just notice where in your body they're working on, or if you're feeling any resistance. And we just ask that white light that knows. The white light comes from ancient white flame of Atlantis. It kind of knows what we need to do to access this fifth dimensional energies. So we just ask that to soothe the areas, to remove any blocks, to dissolve any parts of us that are unwilling to accept these keys. And it's okay if you don't accept all the keys this time. We're just doing the initial connection. And anything that you're willing to let go of again goes out to those plasma balls to be reforged. So just notice how it feels to have these keys running through your body, unlocking. And see the sunlight starting to expand as if you're turning into this golden sun goddess yourself, that you are now a shining being in the heaven. See yourself getting larger and larger and brighter and brighter. And give this a word or an object or a symbol so that you can remember what this feeling is. And now that you have that word, that feeling, make that your 2024 word. We've just been working with the Gemini full moon last month, and we use words as our wand. So imagine this word is your wand, and that this is going to be the word to get you through the next few months, because words do change as we learn them. And imagine holding that word in your hands and bringing this new version of you back into your heart as you come back through the pearl into the center of your heart. I usually suggest that we create like a palace in our heart and find a throne room where we put all our gifts and our words, where we can come back and view them when we want to. So you can imagine sitting on your throne, receiving a new crown to represent this new consciousness that you've just received. You put this word on the wall, or the symbol, or an object, whatever you received, on the shelves. And you just commit to coming back here and communicating with this word, this symbol, this feeling, to get more insights. And now while you're in this throne room within the palace in your heart, just imagine this golden energy expanding out into the palace and into your heart itself. Let it run down through your arms and your legs until your whole body is now sensing that feeling in the physical. If you want to move your arms and legs, just feel it all moving through your body. I usually like to move my spine a little bit to get it to move up the spine, to really imagine it completely moving through your body and pulsing on a cellular level. And then let's just bring that energy back into the heart space, back into the palace. And let's just practice one more time, expanding it out into your body as you pulsate and let it move through your body, moving your arms and moving your spine, and then contract it back. So it's good when we do this expansion and contraction because we're kind of growing with each pulse into a bigger version of ourselves. So the final part now is to ask for these reforging magnets to be presented to you. And you imagine having this big hammer that comes from Vulcan. And you're going to hammer the energy in this forge and create something new with it. You're going to take this liquid light form version of the negative energy that you've released and create something new with it. And as you forge it into a new shape, it's cleansed of its negative energy. The power of the negative energy is being kept, and the old toxic part will stay within the forge. Imagine what gift you're being receiving now from the forge that you've just created, where you've alchemized the blocks of your life, your challenges of your life, into the solution to those blocks that you can carry forward into the next year. And again, put that somewhere in your throne room, something you can come back and communicate with. And now let's bring your awareness back into the space where we're sitting, bringing that energy all the way back into the physical, because you are the universe, you are the sun goddess, you are the Galactic Federation of Light. And just allow that to activate you and bring you back into your physical form, empowered as a shining form in heaven. Bring your awareness back to your body where you're sitting. 3, eyes starting to open. 2, 1, back in the space where you started. So maybe put those words on an altar, and that could be your New Year's resolution. Although I think we're going to be in this kind of purging phase in January, and New Year will be February. But it's good to work with this now and to connect with this energy and see what that brings.
Beautiful. And if anyone's got water with them, please do drink some water as you come back and fully come in. And if you want to share in the comments, you are more than welcome to share your experience. It was warm.
It's the sun goddess.
It was. It literally. I was like, burning. It was like, whoa, that's a little bit warm here.
I thought my cat had joined us, but I see he's on the other chair.
Yeah, although I thought I heard him.
Yeah, he definitely meowed. When we were in the middle of it, he came to see what we were doing. He's my cosmic cat, so he's just checking. And he's orange, so he's golden.
He is, yes.
Mm.
A very naughty cat as well.
Yes, his paws know how to find trouble.
Oh, yes, keeps you on your toes. And Gemma says, thank you. I had my third eye pulsing. Beautiful.
Excellent. Yeah. So, like I said, whenever I bring in these new cosmic vibrations, I actually don't know what to expect. Like, last year I was like, yay, the year of no form, that's cool. And so I realized, oh no, that's chaos. Okay. But it's a good chaos. Chaos is where all the stuff grows out of. So yeah, this year of unity, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of challenges, maybe lots of world narratives, maybe that will try and separate us or put us back into fear or burnout or stress to stop us moving forward on this mission. But there are some of us that are ready to take on that battle and be that King Arthur and go and fight these battles on behalf of the rest of us. So
yeah, and I think there's more than they realise out there. And Gemma says, second time this week that's happened. Powerful meditation, visualization. Thank you.
thank you.
And the Reiki Angel Jane says, beautiful. I missed the start, but managed to jump back in. Wisdom for me.
Yeah, there's just so much to share. So I've only just finished the reading the last couple of weeks, so it's going to evolve as I start thinking about it and trying to explain it better. So hopefully that's a little peek at it at least.
Yeah, no, you explained it. You explained it beautifully. There for us.
Have you done much work with the Galactic Federation of Light?
No, I tend to, because kind of like I tend to go to Corel and work with the portals and stuff. I've not really kind of like they've not particularly come in. Some I do have Palladian, Lemurian, and Arcturian guides in there, but not the actual Federation of Light itself as such.
Yeah, neither have I, so it's okay.
Yeah. No, but it'll be interesting to see if anyone has had had that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more galactic stuff, and it's really interesting about their because this is the second time in 2 weeks that our theory and stuff has come up again. There's come into my consciousness. I have the Merlin lineage anyway, so Merlin was one of my guides. But yeah, it's the actual Arthurian story is starting to make its way back in, which is really, really interesting. Which kind of like says, yeah, things are definitely shifting.
Yeah, for sure.
Did
you know that the Merlin was actually an antichrist?
Yes and no, but it depends, because there's actually more than one Merlin, because Merlin is an archetype. And there were different versions of Merlin.
But I think it's a good reason for him to be the Antichrist, because in a way he was formed out of demonic energy to do good. And I think that's kind of a key part of, like, we can't fear the dark anymore. Hence the reforging part that I do in my visualizations. We can't fear it anymore. It's part of what we're doing. It's part here to help us. I know that sounds weird, but just like Merlin, it's that kind of synthesis of good and bad to do new things that are needed. So
yeah, but yeah, there was more than one version of Merlin, but the highest Merlin of all is interesting to connect with. But he is one of those that you can't say, come and work with me. Is kind of like, just test you a little bit here for it. So, and the Reiki Angel says, powerful changes in my abilities and competence, currently sharing lots of downloads, almost on the fly, but feels right. Yeah, beautiful. And something, I'm going to pull a card for Trudy and everyone who's watching, because I can.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
That's what we're sharing. We're sharing insights to get this year started as a kick point. You like
Exactly.
quantum leap you into the new year.
Yeah. So what does Trudy and everyone who's watching this need to know for their journey into for their quantum journey into 2024? Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're doing. Absolutely perfect. You could not have made this up. Wise leader, you're a beacon for others.
It almost looks like King Arthur too. Yeah.
Exactly. A female, powerful female. That's a female warrior there. Yes. So, I don't really need to say much about that, about that card with what we've just been doing and going through, and that we are here to, help bring in that energy for others. Be that beacon. Just be that beacon and bring all that energy into us.
Well, so, we've been going through Christ consciousness after Christmas and embodying the divinity. And I think this kind of galactic federation of light it's not like what traditionally it might have meant or what people have called it, other than they are peacekeepers and they're here as like the advocates for a good earth experience. That's what I think it's representing as a, like you said, like an archetype for that. But it's this, there's going to be this new heart fire that's going to come on board, I think. And it's kind of like the sun, but it's our inner sun, that we're not going to be so externally fueled anymore. We're going to really be generators of this energy. And alchemists, that's where the energy alchemy comes into this, and so important. It's not about becoming healers anymore. It's just about being that beacon of light. And as soon as we all become that, healing will just be instantaneous. So that's the aim, I guess, of this.
And the fact she does have a beacon in her hand.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Well, yeah, the essence, that holy grail essence, she just needs a cup now with that in to be encouraging people to step into their true essence.
Yeah, no cup there in that one, but she's obviously looking for it.
I don't know if we'll ever find our full cup. I think just when we get to the point of finding it, we'll find more to fill it with. And I think that's what's so great about this journey. It's not like, when will I get there? Like, no, like, why would you want to know all your Christmas presents before Christmas? Don't you want the kind of anticipation of what's unfolding? And that's kind of this journey for the Holy Grail, is this learning something new, growing bigger and bigger, dying, reforging, burning up into a new big version of us, then burning it all away, because we just know we can just recreate and burn and recreate and burn. And yeah.
Wonderful. So, Trudy, do you have any insights, thoughts, or last words of wisdom to leave our viewers?
I'd say just to work with this Amaterasu frequency and to start sharing your truth, because the more you share some of these downloads, the more you'll find somebody that can help you understand it or make a bigger connection. And find your community. Like, we're going to need a community to work to build unity consciousness. So it can be a bit lonely otherwise. So it's finding our communities, I think.
Yeah. Janeki said that earlier. That makes sense. And it's easy to do that in a supportive group. Yeah. It totally is. Finding all your soul group and everything. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this conversation found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. And every time I speak to Trudy, something new clicks and comes in. So it's always amazing. So if people want to connect with you, Trudy, how do they do that? And are you offering anything at the moment?
Yeah, just realizing, like, time goes so quick when we start. Like, we could carry on for another few hours and still wouldn't.
Oh God, yeah.
That's the tip of the surface of this. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and I have my current offering is part of a membership where each month we take the astrological signs, but the esoteric and the cosmic version of them. I know that sounds weird, but Vulcan and the hammer is part of that kind of work we're doing. So I offer that as a monthly work, and it's all about becoming more soul aligned. So we work on all the different aspects of each astrological sign and hopefully clear that out through an activation and some good questioning, so we get some real practical insights onto how we behave and walk on this earth and what we can do to become more soul aligned. So that's my first kind of offering. And I also have my podcast that I do on YouTube. And the next one's going to be the 15th, where I'm going to go a bit more into some of the other aspects of what we need to nurture in ourselves, our skills that we need to nurture for the next 2024. That'll be the 15th of January. The podcast itself won't start back until March, I think. I just need to finish processing this energy.
Yeah.
And I think the White Star Soul Guidance is one of my pages, and Dancing with 5D Energy is the other page. So yeah. I often get confused because, like, at first it was White Star Soul Guidance, and then I realized, well, White Star is my name. It's like Trudy is my earth name, and White Star is my cosmic name. So that's my name. So I offer soul guidance and dancing with energy, which is the alchemist side of it.
Yeah, and I'll put links to all ways people can connect with you, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube anyway. So and your website. So that's fine. I'll put those in the link. And of course, to anyone watching, if you're now ready to remember your divine presence and step onto your spiritual multidimensional path, but you feel lost, confused, stuck, or alone, then please feel free to reach out and connect with me. And we can see where you are now and how you can move forward to actually take charge of your destiny so that you can spread your wings and soar. And of course, you can receive a free future life progression recording to discover your destiny by seeing into your future to get guidance and clarity that you can use in your current life, as well as a couple of other free gifts by signing up to my email list. And again, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching. And I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost, want to get clear on their destiny just like you, and really need to connect and understand all, this cosmic energy that's coming in at the moment. There are a lot of people feeling it, and this video could really help them. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then if you haven't already and it resonates, please feel free to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified when the show goes live, or I post new guided meditations. And do subscribe to Trudy's YouTube channel as well. Every time someone subscribes to our channels, comments, shares, it really helps with all the algorithms.
And it's unity consciousness.
And it's unity consciousness, and it lifts us all up and gets us all out there. And Gemma, who's been on as well, do check out her YouTube. She's a phenomenal singer. She's an amazing singer. So do follow her on YouTube as well. And she's pretty good around reading cards and spiritual stuff as well. Very creative. So yeah, I look forward to you all joining me same time, same place next week. And thank you everyone who has joined in the conversation live or is watching the replay. Do put your comments in. We will go back and periodically check on them. And again, thank you so much, Trudy.
You're welcome.
And I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.